at the Arcola theatre this afternoon for Little Miss Sunshine. I've forgotten my camera, so I'm gonna have to do this on the phone, which is never as good because I look in the wrong place. But you will give you a full report, maybe in the interval, maybe at the end of the show as well. I've not been here before actually, but it's quite cool. There's a couple of studios and quite where I am, I'm not sure. It was a long drive here, but yeah, you can. I'll put some stuff up so you can see how you can tag the theatre and tweet, etc., etc. In our seats, it's a very tiny little studio theatre. I'll give you a quick look around, but literally, yeah, there's it's like we're in a basement. Pretty cool though. There's a balcony, probably about 100 seats. The show's actually going on a tour as well, so this is the start off of it. So it's quite interesting to see how, from this tiny little room, it's going to get into these great big theatres around the country. But I'll come back to you in the interval, let you know a bit more about how we thought and how we found it. Well, have a little wave. Mummy, come to see the show today with me. Here we go, there's an idea of the set. It's kind of like, you can imagine it on a big cross stage, but in a little tiny room here today. So let's talk about Little Miss Sunshine then, what we thought. So for those of you that don't know, this is a UK premiere of a show named after a film with the same name. People might know the film, very quirky. Story is very dysfunctional family set in Albuquerque in America, and the youngest child in the family enters into a beauty pageant, a child beauty pageant, and the family, against their better judgment, go off in a yellow camper van and head off to try and win that situation. So very interesting, very quirky. Now William Finn, who might people know, who's written a lot of shows like Falsettos. He wrote the music for 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, and James Lapine, who's also written lots of musicals, maybe with Sondheim, have come up with something quite ingenious but also quite quirky. And I think after Act 1, I was a bit like, oh, I'm not sure whether this is for me. Undoubtedly in a very small space, as you probably saw on the video clips before this. And the space is used ingeniously with a revolve, very clever set, quite a lot of yellow in the set, but however they get the effect of starting the car, starting the van and moving that around very brilliantly as well. Music's good, very nice, pretty melodies, a lot of it. Some of it a little bit hard to swallow first time round. I'm certain if I went back a second time, I'd probably think, oh, that was a good song, I remember that one. Performance is fabulous, led by the wonderful Laura Pitt-Pulford, who people will have known in lots of Western stuff. She plays the mum. Super performance, very, very beautifully emotional throughout. Very difficult role, very complex role. Lit the stage up with her music, her songs, her musicality, and certainly her emotion, which she was definitely easily accessible. Gabriel Vick played the dad, another very self-assured performance. Seen him in lots of things as well. Also absolutely loved Gary Wilmot. So Gary Wilmot plays the grandpa, probably the comedy character, but even that is quite a black sort of comedy, the whole thing. So the whole show is very much about kind of the upside down of the American dream and what happens and what happens when we wish what we don't end up doing. So there's a very sad sort of flashback scene in the first act where you kind of see the parents as they were and obviously contrasting to how they are now. Also worth a mention is the young kids now. There are 3 lead girls, Olive cast, and 9 other little girls who play in different performances. So I don't want to quote names to make sure I quote the wrong one, but absolutely super. Definitely steal the show. And Olive's dance solo at the end is worth the money alone, a ticket solo alone. I found it quite interesting from the point of view of this is going to be going out on a big tour, and it lends itself to intimacy. So it's quite a complex, intimate little piece. So when it goes into these big venues, I'm not quite sure how it's going to come across the footlights. However, in the small and sort of interesting Arcola space, worked perfectly. It was fitted beautifully to what it was doing, and was also very darkly funny. So that is Little Miss Sunshine. Little Miss Sunshine is going to be on tour. It's around the UK this year. Also, you can catch it at the Arcola. It is the UK premiere as well. I would give it 3, maybe 3.5 stars. I did enjoy it. I did feel that the audience were, I know you can't help that as a production, but the audience definitely didn't help it along on Saturday. So there was a guy next to me, literally head on his hands, tutting, rolling his eyes, a family in front of me enjoying a picnic, a guy sat opposite on the front row asleep through Act 1, which I kind of think, is bad manners, but it did distract me, especially in such a small space. That's no fault of the production, but I've got to speak as I find. I thought Gary Wilmot was wonderful. Also liked Paul Keating, very funny, darkly humorous. Great music, super use of space and set. Not sure what it's going to look like when it goes into the bigger houses. And super lighting design as well. So overall, 3.5 stars. It's Little Miss Sunshine at the Arcola Theatre for the next month or so, and then on tour across the UK. Now, as always, if you're enjoying these vlogs and enjoy finding out about these shows that are up and coming, please subscribe. There's a button below subscribe. Also give me a thumbs up. That's always nice. And also interact with me as much as possible in the comments. It'd be nice to hear from you. If you want to connect on Twitter, I am Adam Amdram. Always get the wrong way around. And if you want to connect with me on Facebook and Instagram, it's Amdram Adam. I look forward to seeing you on the aisles very soon. That's Little Miss Sunshine at the Arcola, 3.5 stars.